My name is Faith Borden, and I am a meteorologist at the Nashville National Weather Service office. Today we are going to talk about how to read a weather map. On a typical weather map, you will often see different weather stations plotted on it. It is on this plot that you can find information such as temperature, dew point, winds, and pressure. Let's break it down on how to read a station plot. In the center of the plot, there's a circle. This circle tells you how much of the sky is covered with clouds. An empty circle represents clear skies, while a filled circle represents overcast skies. Anything in between might mean scattered clouds, partly cloudy, or mostly cloudy, depending upon how filled in the circle is. From this circle, you'll often see a line attached to it. This line is called a wind barb, and it represents the direction from which the wind is blowing. You can determine the wind speed in knots by adding up the total flag, lines, and half lines present. A flag represents 50 knots, a line represents 10 knots, and a half line represents 5 knots. So in this example, you see a flag, 2 lines, and 1 half line. So if we add them up, we would get 50 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5, which equals 75. So this wind barb tells us the wind is out of the west at 75 knots. The number in the top left-hand corner is an air temperature in Fahrenheit, while the number in the bottom left-hand is the dew point temperature, also in Fahrenheit. The closer these two numbers are, the more moisture that is present in the atmosphere. Finally, the other number in the upper right-hand corner is the sea level pressure. This number is plotted in tenths of millibars, and the leading 10 or 9 is always omitted. How do you know whether to add a 9 or a 10? Knowing the typical range of sea level pressure is helpful. Typically, most pressure falls between 950 millibars and 1050 millibars. A good rule of thumb is if these numbers are less than 500, you'll add a 10, and if these digits are more than 500, then you'll add a 9. There are some exceptions to this, such as intense hurricanes or really strong high-pressure systems. Now that you know how to read a station plot, we can talk about high and low pressure systems, as well as different types of fronts. Have you ever seen a blue H on a weather map? The blue H means high pressure. When you see this on a weather map, it just means the air pressure is higher here compared to the surrounding air. You can also think of the H meaning happy, and the high pressure usually means a nice day is in store. What about a red L? A red L on a weather map means low pressure. When you see this on a weather map, it just means the air pressure is lower here compared to the air surrounding it. You can also think of the L meaning lousy, in that low pressure usually means wet and dreary weather is in store. Fronts are also depicted on a weather map. A front is just a boundary that separates cold and warm air. If it gets colder behind the front, then we call that a cold front. But if it gets warmer behind the front, then we call that a warm front. A cold front looks like this. It's a blue with blue triangles on it. A warm front looks like this and is red with red half circles. Now let's put this knowledge to the test. Can you get all of these questions right? We hope you enjoyed this educational video on weather maps. Thank you for joining us.